voted 2 yes for clemency and 2 no for clemency. The 5th member of the board had recused himself because his wife was one of the prosecutors in GLOSSIP's second trial. Now she's a district attorney or an assistant district attorney. That makes me think that this guy shouldn't even be on the PMP board. I mean, this can't possibly be the only time he's going to have to recuse himself from a vote, in my mind. But whatever, this is Oklahoma and they think differently. So anyway, the 2 no votes got the one win the vote, and I don't know how it works. They tried to explain it, still doesn't make sense to me. But they won the vote for not granting clemency. Kevin Stitt, the governor, he's just been very blasé about it. Quite frankly, I think he's just a cowardice dickhole. But you guys all know how I feel about him too. And so he's just been really blasé about it. And when he's been asked, what do you think, or what will you do, or what, he's just like, well, I've already, his basic attitude is, I've already stayed his execution twice. I'm not going to do it again. And that's with all of this new evidence that is just glaring in his face. And he's still willing to, put his pro-life stance to the side to murder somebody in his state that's innocent of everything he's been accused of. Anyway, it goes on to say the High Court put the execution on hold indefinitely while it reviews the case. Justice Neil Gorsuch took no part in the decision, presumably because he dealt with the case earlier as an appeals court judge. Quote, there is nothing more harrowing than the thought of executing a man who the state now admits has never received a fair trial, end quote, GLOSSIP attorney Don Knight said in a statement. Quote, our hope is that the court will reverse the decision of the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals and vacate Mr. GLOSSIP's conviction once and for all. Get him out of prison. Drummond, a Republican, said in a statement he was grateful for the High Court's decision. Quote, I will continue working to ensure justice prevails in this important case, end quote, he said. In a rare move, Drummond, the state's top prosecutor, supported a High Court reprieve for GLOSSIP, telling the justices, quote, GLOSSIP's trial was unfair and unreliable, end quote. But Drummond also has said he does not believe GLOSSIP is innocent of the murder-for-hire killing of GLOSSIP's former boss, Barry Van Treese, in 1997. Another man, Justin Sneed, admitted robbing and killing Van Treese after GLOSSIP promised to pay him $10,000. Sneed received a life sentence in exchange for his testimony and was the key witness against GLOSSIP. A phone message left Friday with Van Treese's brother, Ken Van Treese, wasn't immediately returned. I know they are not happy. Former Oklahoma County District Attorney David Prater, who's probably freaking out, has long said he believes GLOSSIP persuaded Sneed to kill Van Treese. He said that while Sneed's testimony was most compelling, there was plenty of evidence to corroborate it, which is not true. There's no evidence. There was no evidence whatsoever. Nothing. There wasn't any trace. There wasn't even circumstantial evidence to accuse GLOSSIP. He said when police came to talk to GLOSSIP about Van Treese's whereabouts, he directed him away from the room he knew Van Treese was in, end quote. Prater said Friday, quote, at any point, GLOSSIP had the opportunity to tell the police that Sneed did this. He never did that. He even helped Sneed clean up everything, end quote. Also not true. Just not true. Prater said Sneed and GLOSSIP also both had a large amount of cash that Prater said they stole from Van Treese's car. So that is also not true. If you came into my Discord last week and watched Killing Richard Glossip, um, the amount of cash that they had on them was really, well, it wasn't anything close to what was in the trunk of Van Treese's car. Um, the amount of money that Glossip had was the same amount of money. I think there was like maybe $400 or $500 more, but it was basically the same amount of money as his paycheck was. And all the cash that Sneed had on him was, I believe he had $1,700, and or yeah, $1,700, and every bit of it, every single bill of that $1,700 had blood on it. Um, photos from Glossip's money show both sides of every one of his bills were clean, no blood. Um, and there's just so much more than that. But anyway, in quote, Prater said, quote, "In light of Gentner Drummond's position regarding the stay, I don't feel like the Supreme Court had much of a choice, but the truth will come out," end quote. Ugh. The truth has come out, Prater, you dickhole. It has come out, and Oklahoma will go to blow up before they will ever admit that they lied and set up this man. Um, two separate independent investigations have revealed problems with the prosecution's case. Drummond said Sneed lied on the stand about his psychiatric condition and his reason for taking the mood stabilizing drug lithium, and that prosecutors knew Sneed was lying. Sneed said he had never seen a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and he didn't know why the prison was giving him lithium, or the jail, or whoever it was. He didn't know why they were giving him lithium. He had a cold, and he thought he was taking cold medicine. My ass. Jeez. Also, evidence was destroyed, Drummond said. Some Republican state lawmakers who support the death penalty have joined the growing chorus of Glossip supporters who are seeking to overturn his conviction. Quote, "We're just ecstatic," State Representative Kevin McDougal said in a brief telephone interview on Friday. Glossip's case has been to the Supreme Court before. He was given a reprieve in 2015, although the court later ruled 5-4 against him in a case involving the drugs used in the lethal injections. And that was when the death penalty was put on moratorium in Oklahoma because they botched horribly and so inhumanely a execution that they had done because they were using the wrong drugs. Glossip has been just hours away from being executed 3 separate times. His last scheduled execution in September 2015 was halted just moments before he was to be led to the death chamber when prison officials realized they had received the wrong fucking legal drug. That mix-up helped prompt a nearly 7-year moratorium on the death penalty in Oklahoma. Richard Glossip has had 3, for those of you who don't already know, he's had 3 last meals already, which is just horrific. Glossip's case attracted international attention after actress Susan Sarandon, who won an Academy Award for her portrayal of a death penalty opponent, Sister Prajine, in the 1995 movie Dead Man Walking, took up his she took up his cause in real life. Prajine herself has served as Glossip's spiritual advisor and frequently visited him in prison. His case also was featured in the 2017 documentary film Killing Richard Glossip. And if you haven't seen it, or if you missed it with us last weekend, you need to watch it. It's an amazing 4-part documentary. Each part's only like 45 or 48 minutes long. It's not really very long at all. In January, the justices ordered a Texas appeals court to look again at the case of an inmate on death row who had the backing of prosecutors. The inmate, Arely Escobar, had been convicted and sentenced to death based on forensic evidence that a judge later found to be flawed. But the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals overturned the judge's order for a new trial, even though the newly elected prosecutor in Travis County, Texas, was no longer standing behind the conviction. When Escobar appealed to the Supreme Court, the prosecutor supported his bid. And so that's what came from AP. Excuse me. So that's kind of where, so sorry, Jack. Jack, welcome. Sorry, I was reading, I didn't catch you.
Oh yeah, I knew you were ready. It's all good. Apologies for being late.
Oh, no problem. You weren't late. It was we were very impromptu, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
Rhonda, you be chilling in chat is asking what is it called and is it on Netflix or YouTube? It's called Killing Richard Glossip. And was it on Amazon, did you say?
Yeah, I bought it on Amazon Prime, but I've been hearing that it's also on, I think,
I think it's on Hulu.
Peacock. What?
Hulu or Peacock? I'll check while you guys are talking.
Yeah, I think it could be on Peacock but that's the other one, not Discovery. Yeah, Discovery Plus. We'll find a link for it and put it in the link. Put the link in the chat for you guys. So that was, yeah, amazing. It's such a relief. A lot of us have been just a little sick to our stomachs worrying about whether or not he was going to be executed. Oops, my computer is not plugged in and it's trying to shut down on me. Oh gosh, let me get this going here really quick. Okay. I lost track of what I was saying, but anyway, old Travis County, Travis must know something about Travis County. So let me just go through the chat here really quick. So we've got Under Your Scars, You Be Chillin', like I said, great to see you here. Under Your Scars, Travis is in the Foul Play chat. Welcome, Travis. And Katie did it, accidentally deleted somebody's message, apparently. And Derek Clarkson is in the Foul Play chat. Welcome. And like I said, Travis is also in the Foul Play chat. So welcome to all of you guys. This is really kind of last minute for me to do this, but I'm going to also share what the documentation that came from the Supreme Court. And I am not going to know how to read it probably very well. So,
Rhonda,
yeah.
I'll drop it in chat. It's on Discovery Plus. Killing Richard
Oh,
Glossip.
it is Discovery. Okay.
Yeah, it's not on Peacock.
Okay, Discovery Plus. So if you have Discovery Plus, you can watch it on Discovery Plus. Or like I said, I can't remember how much it costs. You can rent it or buy it on Amazon. But it was worth it. I mean, it was worth it to me enough that I just bought it because I've seen it several times and you just can't see it enough. It's so shocking. If you're familiar with the West Memphis 3 case, you might recognize the producer, I think it was, Joe Bullinger. He did the West Memphis 3 documentary for HBO, and he's also a part of Killing Richard Glossip. And they do a great job. So it's heart-wrenching to watch, but they do tell quite a bit of information about the case. And the part about killing Richard Glossip that is so infuriating, they show you the detectives that were working, Bob Bemo, and nope, is it Bob Sherry Bemo or Richard Bemo, or some weirdo's last name is
It's
Bemo.
Bill Cook and Bob Bemo.
Bob Bemo and Bill Cook were the investigators, and mostly Bob Bemo goes in and he completely feeds information to Sneed about, we know you killed him, but we don't think you did. We know you didn't do this killing alone. We know you had help. And they tell him that. And then before that, I guess, or right after that, he even says to Sneed, the actual killer, the admitted killer, says, he tells him, and Richard's been arrested too. Did you know that? And Justin Sneed says no. And he said, yeah, he's been arrested too. So he's just totally feeding this kid, 19-year-old kid. Justin Sneed was 19 at the time, feeding him an alibi, not an alibi, but a co-conspirator. And it's horrific to watch what these detectives do to Richard Glossip, and how they help Sneed out. For what reason, I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. I just think that there's so much ego and so much arrogance that is a part of the corrupt justice system in Oklahoma County, that they, the more notches on their belt or whatever, we got one, well, we're going to make another one happen as well. We're going to make this killer have a partner or whatever. And Bob Bemo just has no shame in his game whatsoever. He's pretty damn proud of himself, and I think he's pretty disgusting. He says he can sleep well at night because he knows that
He done a
he's
good job.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. I'm just like, I'm so my mind is kind of running 100,000 directions. But yeah, he feels like he did a good job, and he got 2 for 1 basically.
Yeah, exactly, Rhonda. And I mean, that's what I hate. I hate about all these fucking wrongful convictions, because there is proof there that the police screwed up. There is proof there that they are innocent of the crime that they have been convicted for. I mean, that's in Daniel's case, it's in Stephen and Brendan's, it's in Luke's, it's in Richard's, you know what I mean? And the fact that these police who investigated it, that know fine well there is maybe documentation or something like that that proves they messed up the investigation, they still go in front of a camera or whatever and believe in the lies that they've been telling themselves for the last 30 years. No, we done a good job. We got the culprits. I don't care what they're saying. They're guilty. We had the evidence. Well, bullshit. The evidence that's turning up now is that there was no evidence in the first place. And it really annoys me that they can get away with doing that. It really, really does.
Yeah. Well, and there's seemingly no accountability. Derek Clarkson says he can't find a way to watch it in Australia. Well, I don't know, Derek, I don't know if you're part of Foul Plays. I know you're in Foul Plays chat. I don't know if you're part of their Discord or not. Or I know you're not in my Discord, but you could also come to my Discord. We can stream it again. anytime, and you could watch with us through Discord if you wanted to. That goes for anybody, actually. So yeah, but yeah, they just, and Alice, you give a lot more, you offer a lot more grace than I do, because I don't feel like these are mistakes that they're making, especially in Richard Glossip's case and Daniel's case, of course. These aren't mistakes. These are
No,
intentional things that they have done to, destroy people's lives.
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
just
I agree
I'm
with you
just
100%.
I'm just wondering. Either we really kind of know. Well, we suspect in Daniel's case, well, the cops did what they did was to avoid riots. Stephen and Brendan, it's the civil litigation, civil lawsuit.
So, yeah,
But in Richard's case, I'm at a loss because
there,
I guess maybe I don't know the case well enough. But
there
was
is
there some?
no, there is nothing, Jack. There is
That's crazy.
no reasoning behind why
The
they
detectives
would
did what they did.
do what they did to him,
Yeah.
what they continue to do to him. And that's why I say it's like their ego says, well, we got one, let's get another one to go with it. Let's put
Yeah,
2 men in prison instead of just one. What is it? Is it Mark? What's his name? Um, the one that talks about the unindicted co-conspirator or unindicted co-ejaculator. What
Oh,
is
that's
Mark
Godsey.
Mark Gotzi. Yeah, in
Yeah.
his book, he talks about he's a former prosecutor. I think he now works with the Innocence Project in
Oh yeah.
Ohio.
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, he wrote an amazing book, and he talks about, there are prosecutors out there who are prosecuting for the wrong reasons. And when he
Blind,
became a part of
blind,
that,
blind injustice.
Blind Injustice is the name of the book. Yes. And when he became a prosecutor, he said he found himself kind of falling into that same mentality of the other prosecutors that he was working with. And he like kind of something, I don't know, like slapped him in the face. And he's like, wait a minute. No, 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 no. This isn't who I am. And he left the prosecutor's office, and I believe he became a defense attorney. And now he works with the Innocence Project in Ohio. But he has some amazing stories and information in his book about, huh? Hello? Who was that? That was weird. Oh, shoot. That's me. Sorry.
Like I say, I didn't hear anything but you talking.
I
So
was like, hey,
Oh,
I'm
what's
looking.
she talking about?
I'm looking
it's
around the
going
fucking room.
crazy.
I'm looking around the fucking room like what?
Well, I'm listening to gosh, there was a big trial that just finished up today in Colorado. They call it the stepmom murder or whatever, but Letitia Stock, her trial just ended today. So they're on jury verdict watch. And so I just have that window left open and the video started over.
All right.
And so it started playing again. I thought, oh God, it's happening. I'm losing my mind. For real.
It was the way you went, hello?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, it's one of the kids maybe walked into the room, and then you continued talking. I was like, eh?
Oh no, she's lost it. Yeah, because I was looking at everybody's mic and everybody was muted but me, and I'm like, and so then I thought, what, I'm hearing things. Gosh. Oh no. Oh, our under your scars says the jury went home for the night, for the weekend. There's no verdict yet. I'm shocked too. I'm disappointed is what I am. I was hoping for a quick verdict, but they're doing the right thing. They're doing their civic duty. They're probably mentally exhausted with everything they've been through. But anyway,
Yeah.
so
Well,
that's
I
what
mean,
that was. I'll close the window now.
I think that's right in a sense. You know, I mean, even though you were wanting an outcome and everything like that today, the fact that they're taking more time to
Yeah.
come to a decision, I
Yeah,
think is more
it's the right thing.
It is the right thing, Rhonda, because when I read these court documents and things like that, and they say they came back in 45 minutes, or they came back in 2 hours, or something, to me, especially if it's like a 6-week case, or
Yeah.
a longer case than that, and they're coming back with a verdict in 2 hours. It's
Well,
like,
it was
are they
like,
really taking into consideration all the information that they've heard over a 6-week trial in
yeah,
2 hours? Unless it's blatantly slapping you in the face that this person done it.
yeah.
I
I don't,
think they
I think,
should.
didn't Murdaugh's jury come back in like 45 minutes or something? I was
They
like,
did. It was
whoa.
quick. It was
Yes, they
quick.
were quick.
I'm like, you're
Yeah.
guilty,
Yeah.
mother
But
trucker.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so enough dramatics for me for the moment. So here is the Supreme Court's docket, I guess is what it's called. April 26th of just last month, um, there was an application for a stay of execution of death, execution of sentence of death submitted to Justice Kavanaugh. Again, Justice Gorsuch had recused. So when you go into, I put the link to this document in the chats. If you go into this document, there's all sorts of other little sub places that you can go and read more details. So that was on April 26th. And then on May 1st, the response to the application from the respondent, Oklahoma, was filed. And then on the 4th, just yesterday, petition of writ of certiorari and motion for leave to proceed in forma pauperis was filed, and the response was due June 5th of 2023. And then there's a bunch of different little subcategories that you can go in to read about all of that as well. And then application was referred to the court today. And then today, application for stay of execution of sentence of death presented to Justice Kavanaugh and by him referred to the court is granted pending the disposition of the petitions for writs of certiorari. And then it gives the numbers. Should both petitions for writs of certiorari be denied, this stay shall terminate automatically. Ooh. In the event either petition for writ of certiorari is granted, the stay shall terminate upon the issuance of the mandate of this court. Justice Gorsuch, I can never say his name, took no part in the consideration or the decision. So that is the document, the basic document that Cherie pulled up this afternoon. And like I said, if you want to read all of those little sub things, I mean, I wouldn't even know what to do with all those little sub things if I opened them and started looking at them. So I mean, I guess I could, but I don't know what any of them mean. So if I had Travis on my panel, he could tell us probably, but I don't. You know, anyway, I just wanted to jump on really quick. I've been telling you guys that we would, any information that we had through the, throughout the next week or two, that I would jump on and let you guys know. And I think this was a pretty big deal. I was surprised that it happened so quickly, and I was even more surprised that the execution was blocked. Happy, don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled with it, but I wasn't expecting it. It's just that's because
So,
my negativity meter is just more negative these days than it is.
so does that mean that the 60 days is granted to give the court
Well,
time to fill this out?
it from what it looks to me like they have till June 5th, if I'm not misunderstanding. So it doesn't sound like it's 60 days. What is the petition? So yesterday, the petition for a writ of certiorari and motion to leave to proceed in forma pauperis was filed. The response is due June 5th. So maybe that was when the Supreme Court was supposed to respond, was by June 5th. But at any rate, it says indefinitely. It's blocked indefinitely. So I
That's
guess,
good.
yeah.
It's my understanding that, but I haven't read into it deeply yet, but they're at least till they make a decision on the petition. There are two petitions before them. So they want to, make a decision on both of those, I guess, or whether to even hear them. I'm not sure, but it has something to do with those two petitions. I sent a copy of the order to your email, DKH email. If you
My
want to.
email. Okay, let me
It's short.
see if I can find it. Yeah, hopefully indefinitely, that's not a date. That's just who knows what you can, let me see what this is.
To me, it's basically saying they're not allowed to murder him on the 18th of May, which is good,
Right,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
which we wanted,
we're
Um,
grateful for that.
and yeah, and that decision will be upheld until the court makes a decision, whether that be the state is allowed to go ahead, whether that's going to be a hearing in front of the justices themselves or what. The main thing is that this man is not going to be murdered on the 18th of May, which is a few weeks away,
Right.
So hopefully he'll be taken out that one cell for the time being. I mean, do you know if that's what actually happens, Rhonda? I mean, he'll still be on death row, but is there other cells, or is it just the single cells that is on death row?
Well, right now he's most likely been on death watch, which means he goes upstairs of, basically, like, to a special cell where everything is stripped from him, all of
Right.
his belongings, everything.
Yeah, he's not even
by
got a bloody
himself.
bed. He's got a hard concrete flare and a cover.
Yeah, pretty much. And
It's disgusting. It's
the lights
absolutely
are on
disgusting.
24/7. They never turn the lights off on him. Things like that, and they keep him on death watch. I thought it was for a month, but it could be. I don't really know for sure, but I'm pretty sure. I I haven't read anything about it, which is kind of unusual. But I'm sure they probably put him on death watch as soon as the Pardon and Parole Board denied clemency.
Yeah, that's probably been revoked now. He's probably back in.
Yeah, now he's
That's what I'm
probably
thinking too.
back on death row. What's that, Cherie?
I agree. I don't know that, but I would think that they would, let him go back to wherever he has been.
Yeah,
instead of-
where
I
his
hope
stuff
so.
is, regular cell. Yeah, I
Right.
would think so. There's no reason to keep him there.
No, they've probably taken him off of death watch and he's back in his he's still on death row, but he's back
Right.
in his regular death row cell and not
Yeah,
being
yeah, right. Yeah, that's
tormented further.
good then, that he's not stuck in that bloody room anymore.
Yeah, those are just the things that I'm assuming, and a lot of that assumption comes from what went on with Julius Jones. So, okay, this is the one that Cherie was talking about. Order list 598 US, Friday, May 5th, 2023. Order in pending case. Richard Glossip v. Oklahoma. The application for stay of execution of sentence of death presented to Justice Kavanaugh and by him referred to the court is granted pending the disposition of the petitions for writs of certiorari. This is pretty much, this is the same that we read. So let's see. This says, should both petitions for writs of certiorari be denied, this stay shall terminate automatically, which I believe I don't know. It doesn't say. It doesn't give any dates. I guess we'd need to read the writs for certiorari
I think that means that things will go back to what they
what they were.
before this, but I don't know that for sure.
Right. Okay, so I think I heard somebody pop into. Oh, that's Kay. Hi, Kay.
Hello.
So,
What up, Kay?
Oh, just a whole lot of things all at the same time.
Oh, it's called juggling. That's what we do.
yeah,
We just
Yeah.
juggle. Yes.
that's what we do. Yeah. You know us. We're all, and then, me and you and Cherie are always rolling uphill. So,
That's right.
how we roll. So Travis is saying, yes, that's right. So, yes, if the writs are denied, this stay shall terminate. Exactly what it says. The stay goes. Everything goes back to the way it was. In the event either petition for a writ of certiorari is, I know I'm not saying that right, certiorari is granted, the stay shall terminate upon the issuance of the mandate of this court. So I'm guessing it will terminate and go to whatever the court mandates that that the situation's going to be. So if they decide, if they mandate that it's going to be vacated, then it's vacated. If he's going to stay on death row, he's going to stay on death row. If they're going to commute the sentence to life without parole, whatever, then that's what I guess that's what it sounds like that might be. But the hope is that it would be vacated. And
Are they asking for that? I didn't have a chance to read the documents, the filings. I know the first one, or I thought the first one was appealing the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals decision to not grant a new trial. Is that one of the writs?
we didn't read any writs. I
Okay.
have those, Cherie?
I've got them downloaded. I haven't read them
Okay.
yet, though.
Cherie's got the writs downloaded. She just has it. If you can get them and read them, that would be great.
Well,
I'm almost positive that's what the first one was.
Yeah.
There are like 3 or 4 in the first one, which was first started in January, I think, and then
that would have been. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cherie.
I think just one in the second one, or one that I can get anyway. There's a couple there that I can't get yet. So go ahead.
I can't remember when the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals denied his motion for a new trial, but I know they filed with the Supreme Court right away after that.
Yeah, I think that was the one on the 26th of April, and if I'm not mistaken. Travis said if a writ of cert is granted, that means a new stay will replace this one. I guess I just would like to know how it's, this stay is granted indefinitely. And so I wonder anyway, yeah, interesting. Thanks, Travis.
I thought this stay was granted until they rule on the documents before them.
Yes, that's what I understand. Well, it says also today, stay of execution of death presented to Kavanaugh. The disposition of the petitions for writs, and then it gives the 2 numbers. Are those in Pacer, Cherie? I guess they would be at this point. Should both petitions?
They have them. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The document. These you can get on the Supreme Court website.
Oh, okay. Right where I was.
Yep. That would probably be the easiest way.
Let's see what these main documents look like. Let me open that in another. I guess I could just open some of these other little tabs instead of just pointing at them. Oh, it wouldn't find it, so that was great. Let's see. I wonder why it's not finding them. What is happening? When I
So,
click on them, they won't open.
so Travis, if you're listening, if so, there is a Don Knight objected to there not being 5 members on the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board for Richard's clemency hearing. Could that be something that's coming before the Supreme Court, or would that be handled in Oklahoma? I'm not sure the process. I know that they were asking, gosh, I don't even know if it was the governor to basically declare the hearing before the Pardon and Parole Board, to basically clear that away because they didn't follow their own rules by having 5 members present for a clemency hearing. But I don't know where that would. Oh, that would be in Oklahoma first. Okay. They normally have 5. Yeah, the Oklahoma representatives, they had a press conference yesterday. I don't know if you watched that, but they were reading all of the Pardon and Parole Board's rules that they had broken.
Right. It was really a great press conference yesterday that they did. Oh, that's got a lot of pages. How many pages are in that, Cherie? Did you see?
No, I was just getting them downloaded.
Oh, wow, that's got a lot of pages. It's got a lot of pages.
Can you just read the conclusion?
Let's see. Let me find the conclusion. The petition for a writ of certiorari should be granted. We knew that. Well, that was by the attorney, by Don Knight. They've got several pages of they're just kind of going over. It looks like let's see. We've got the OCCA's decision conflicts with the decisions of this court as well as the 10th Circuit. Snead's statements were material and false. Travis is welcome to come on the panel if he wants to. He doesn't usually like to jump on, but he's welcome to. If he wants to pop on and say anything. Because I'm like blind here trying to pretend like I know about law and shit.
Well, like the second page where it says questions presented, that might give you an idea. That should give you an idea of what they're asking the court to decide. If
Let
you
me
want
pull it up
something
and we can
short and simple. Short anyway.
Let's see if this is the one. Nope, that's not the one. Okay, let me get it out. Oh, I got to get a different screen. Hold on.
Rhonda, TJ is in chat and he says, I'm late. What did I miss? So just for an update, TJ, the Supreme Court has granted a stay for Richard Glossop. So he's not going to be executed on the 18th of May, which is fantastic news for everybody.
Yes, absolutely. Travis says, so his lawyer said they should have appointed a 5th in that situation. We agree. And the attack on that process would have to go through process in Oklahoma first, then it could be federal. Okay. Well, at any rate, he's, that's more stay time. And TJ says, I thought that would happen after Henrietta. Yeah, and that could be the reason for sure. Okay, we're going to share this. You just let me know if you see something come. What is happening up here? Holy shiz. Let's see. Capital case questions presented. Parties to the proceeding. Woo. I think this is statement of related proceedings. So this is all of the different motions that were filed, if I'm not mistaken.
That is, I think that's the cases that they refer to, maybe. I'm not sure, you know, like
Case law?
that they use in the brief, but maybe it could be the different levels of it. What was
It
the
doesn't
title?
look like case law because they all have, well, GLOSSIP v. Oklahoma, v.
Oh,
State, v.
okay.
Trammell.
I think you're right then. It's all the
Well, I'm going to take that. If you think I'm right, I'm going to go with that. That doesn't happen very often. In the footnote, it says there are additional cases arising from GLOSSIP's death sentence, including from this court. See, for example, GLOSSIP v. Gross. However, those matters concern the manner in which the state of Oklahoma intends to carry out that sentence or conduct its clemency proceedings, not the conviction and sentences themselves. Holding 42 USC 1983 is appropriate for challenging method of execution as opposed to validity of a sentence. Okay. And there's a nice long table of it's only 21 pages. It just seemed like it was longer. Okay, here's some of the different case law that they used. It looks like they did cite Brady v. Maryland, which is Escobar, where we heard Escobar before. Oh, Brady v. Maryland, though, that it definitely seems to apply in GLOSSIP's case, as far as I'm concerned, because there's me pretending to be an attorney again. So Mr. GLOSSIP again comes before this court, this time supported by the chief law enforcement officer, very state that will soon kill him unless this court intervenes. Even at this late stage of his case, after Mr. GLOSSIP has faced 9 execution dates, new evidence continues to emerge that the state knew full well that the evidence it used to convict him and sentence him to death was false. So they found evidence proving that Oklahoma knew that the evidence that they used to convict him was false. The state has only recently disclosed evidence showing that it knew its critical witness, Justin Sneed, was lying, and that it nevertheless did not correct the record for the jury. The state agrees this failure and the cumulative effect of the other errors in this case required a new trial before Mr. GLOSSIP can be punished at all, let alone put to death. The state said so before the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals, yet that court refused the state's confession of error. In addressing the merits of Mr. GLOSSIP's claims, the OCCA not only ignored the considered judgment of the state officer chiefly responsible for enforcing Oklahoma's laws, but imposed a standard at odds with this court's precedents to reach that result, requiring Mr. GLOSSIP to show that Sneed intentionally lied rather than simply offered a false statement. Contrary to OCCA's ruling, this court has long and clearly held that the state has a duty to correct material falsehoods, whatever the intention of the speaker. The OCC's resolution of a related Brady v. Maryland claim that the state suppressed evidence of its key witnesses' bipolar disorder also creates a conflict between Oklahoma courts and the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. The OCC's failure to accept the state's concession that the conviction was unreliable in a capital case, no less, was a serious error in its own right. The state of Oklahoma has taken the unprecedented step of joining Mr. GLOSSIP's effort to set his capital conviction aside. That decision came after substantial deliberation, including the results of 2 separate independent investigations both of which concluded that Mr. Glossip's conviction, I feel like I heard somebody pop back. Oh, it was Kay popping back in. Did you drop out, Kay?
Yes.
Okay. That decision came after substantial deliberation, including the results of 2 separate independent investigations, both of which concluded that Mr. Glossip's conviction is unreliable and should be set aside. Although the state did not agree in toto with the analysis of either independent report, the state made its position clear to the OCCA. Quote, consistent with Knopp v. Illinois 360 U.S., blah, 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 the state is compelled to correct Snead's misstatements and permit the trier of fact the opportunity to weigh Snead's credibility with the accurate information. The state also conceded cumulative errors such as violation of the rule of sequestration and destruction of evidence that, when taken together with Snead's misstatements, warrant a remand to the district court for retrial. OCCA rejected the concessions, claiming, contrary to the evidence, they were not based in law or fact. God, these people are, they need a whole new OCCA. Here, too, the OCCA flouted this court's precedents, which required it to consider the cumulative effect of the Brady claims before it, and to give effect to the state's confession of error. And they cite Escobar v. Texas and Kyle v. Whitley. This petition and the pending application for stay of execution, along with the state's extraordinary joinder of that application, are necessary because of the OCCA's failure to uphold this court's precedents and to accept what the state's chief law enforcement officer recognizes, that Mr. Glossip's conviction is a grave, grave miscarriage of justice, and to execute him would be an unthinkable, irreversible travesty. And then there's the opinion below. That's the opinion of OCCA. Constitutional and so they entered their judgment on April 20th. This says constitutional and statutory provisions involved. 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution provides in relevant part, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. And then it goes into the statement, Snead and the conviction. Snead would ultimately receive a life without parole sentence, escaping exposure to the death penalty, in exchange for his testimony implicating Mr. Glossip, the hotel's manager, in an alleged murder-for-hire scheme. Mr. Glossip's conviction and execution undisputedly hinge on the credibility of Justin Snead. I want to read that footnote. Because many of the salient facts are already before the court, they are repeated here only to the extent they are material for the court's consideration. Okay, I mean, I don't know if everybody's interested in hearing all of it or not, but let's see. Travis says, I typically avoid coming on for Daniel Holt's college because I'm extremely limited on what I can say. On this one, I'm not up to speed and just saw the notice that it has been stayed in SCOTUS. Oh, that's okay. I understand. And then you said go up to the questions presented. Well, gosh, okay. To the questions. Nope, I'm going the wrong way because there's not much more. Let's see. I can't see if Travis is saying anything, so help me out if he's telling me I'm going the wrong way or not. Hello? Am I by myself?
The questions presented are on the second page
Okay.
of that, like the
Ditto.
Thanks. Okay, let me go back up here.
Well, clearly, referencing a few minutes ago when you were started talking, who's that? Clearly, you're not alone. That was a
I'm not
ghost.
alone. I know, I'm losing my mind. Okay, this is the introduction. So, opinion, let's see. Parties, statement of related proceedings, table of authorities, petition for writ of certiorari, introduction, opinion below, just jurisdiction, constitutional and statutory provisions involved, statements, reasons for granting the petition.
Go up to the top of this page, and you'll see it says question presented. It gives you the page number. Or you can keep going.
Oh, is that what Travis was talking about?
Yep.
Okay. So let's see, I suppose. Okay, so I'll read this one. Excuse me. Capital case questions presented. Justin Sneed was, in the state's words, its indispensable witness, and Richard Glossip's fate turned on Sneed's credibility. Sneed is the person who bludgeoned the victim to death, and his testimony linking Glossip to the murder was central to the conviction. State stay. Let's see. He only claimed Mr. Glossip was involved after being fed Mr. Glossip's name 6 times and threatened with execution, and his accounting of basic facts about the crime has shifted dramatically with each telling. With Sneed's credibility already tenuous, the state undisputedly hid from the jury Sneed's having, quote unquote, seen a psychiatrist who diagnosed Sneed with a psychiatric condition that rendered him volatile and, quote unquote, potentially violent, particularly when combined with methamphetamine use, a street drug Sneed was abusing at the time he murdered Barry Van Treese. In fact, the state allowed Sneed to affirmatively tell the jury he had not seen a psychiatrist, and they knew that that was a lie. Before the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals, the state confessed error, admitting that the failure to disclose the truth about Sneed's psychiatric condition, leaving the jury with Sneed's uncorrected false testimony, and then suppressing this information for a quarter century. God, that sounds horrible. Rendered Glossip's trial unfair and unreliable. Before this court, the state has admitted Mr. Glossip is entitled to a new trial on these grounds, as well as in light of cumulative error regarding multiple issues raised in Glossip's post-conviction relief application. But the OCCA has refused to stop the execution of an innocent man who never had a fair trial. The petition presents the following questions. A, whether the state's suppression of the key prosecution witnesses' admission he was under the care of a psychiatrist and failure to correct that witness's false testimony about that care and related diagnosis violate the due process of law. Brady v. Maryland. And B, whether the entirety of the suppressed evidence must be considered when assessing the materiality of Brady and NAPU, I don't know, NAPU claims. And 2, whether due process of law requires reversal where a capital conviction is so infected with errors that the state no longer seeks to defend it, Escobar v. Texas. Wow. Pardon me. So sorry. Is that what you were talking about, Travis? I'm guessing. Those are the questions anyway. So CO is let's see. The funny thing about Cam was not showing any evidence. Guilty of what they've been bitching about for years themselves. Oh, that's convicting. Hi, TTM. It's great to see you. Okay, and yeah, Travis says yes, and it boils it all down. So yeah, that pretty much does. If I would have just read that, that would have been easier. But I was trying to, like always, go around everything and not get all the facts in order the way I should have. So, all right. Well, anyway, so basically, Richard's been granted a stay by the Supreme Court. Thank God. And, we couldn't be happier about that. And Travis says, and then based on what the writ they filed, a motion to stay the execution was granted today. Oh, based on that writ, sorry. Oh, I was at work very early today and I worked a full day today. I'm so tired. Okay. Anyway, so I mean it's all good news, no matter how you slice it, it's good news. And
It's excellent news
yeah,
until they deny something.
yeah, exactly. I
And
know.
then it's
Okay,
bad news.
okay, you're like me. It's like until
I don't trust any of those
I
efforts.
know.
I
I like
know.
how the last question that I don't. It seems hard to say no to that because, or when the state itself, or at least the state attorney general, doesn't even defend it. I mean,
Yeah.
who still wants this? Prater.
Yep. And Prater's not even in office anymore.
Oh my God. Did you guys see that picture of him at the pardon and parole board hearing? After the
Yes.
hearing, they got a picture of him talking to AG Drummond. It just looked like he was telling him, "You're wrong about this."
Yeah.
You know how his
Oh
face
yeah.
gets all puffed up?
Purple.
Little toad.
He's such a
What a
jerk.
nasty man.
He is. And he's just so miserable, or at least he seems like he's so miserable.
Yeah, and he's so
Um,
guilty of these charges of withholding evidence and destroying evidence. So
yeah.
Is he like one of those toads that if you lick him you get like go on a bad trip?
I go on a bad
Probably.
trip when I look at him.
But I'm sure as hell not gonna lick that bastard. He's
Oh,
such
did you say lick?
Yes.
What? No, go away, Jack.
What did you think he said?
Look.
No. Haven't you ever heard of toad licking before?
No, I guess I live a really sheltered life over here in Oklahoma. You'd think we would lick all kinds of toads.
It's because you stay in your house to avoid criminal conduct that you didn't commit.
I definitely pay attention when I'm in Oklahoma County.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do we need to we'll have to hire some security or bodyguards or something when we're there this summer?
No, you just need to not be mouthy.
Take
Oh
bail money.
shit. Okay, I'm gonna cancel my flight now.
Contact other sister Susan. Tell her to bring her checkbook and her credit card. American
Well.
Express Platinum card.
Oh, it'll all be good.
Well, I decided I wouldn't wear any Daniel Holtzclaw merchandise out in public when we're in Oklahoma City for sure.
Oh, I do it all the time, just
Oh, do
not
you?
to the courthouse or.
Oh, okay then. I thought that you didn't, and I just was like not trying to bring you any,
Oh, no, I mean, if I'm just out and about in the community, I do.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I used to have a free Daniel Holtzclaw decal on the back of my car.
I was going to ask you. I need one of those to put on the back of my truck window.
I think Blair has them.
Travis says, unopposed application to stay execution. I bet it has been quite a long time since one of those has been filed. Probably. Well, I don't.
I
Well, I
was
don't know.
wondering if it ever has. I guess it probably has.
Well,
But
I
I
mean,
don't know about
you'd
it.
think you would be able to think of a case that was like this, where not only the attorney general, but also the district attorney are in agreement
Yeah.
with. I mean, that's why it was so ludicrous that the Pardon and Parole Board denied. I mean, it's so ludicrous that the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals denied, because at least that was just a new trial, which
Yeah.
left them with no other recourse than to ask for
Yeah,
clemency.
they didn't have a choice. And I noticed Kevin McDougal pointing out Lumpkin on the.
Yeah.
I was like, huh.
Oh yeah, we hate all those MFers.
We know that. Yeah, so it was.
They know how they're going to roll before they even receive a document.
I think so. I just think that the OCCA is they're determined to, I don't know, to keep their dirty secrets hidden for until they're all dead.
I thought it was interesting that McDougal referenced, without saying Henderson's name, referenced Henderson by saying the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals even thinks it's okay if a prosecutor sleeps with a judge.
Yeah, I know. I was like, just say it. Just say the name.
But what was the case? I mean, I didn't know anything went before the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals regarding Henderson. I missed that, whatever that is.
No, I think he's talking about not Hashigan, but Aaron Brock. That's who I thought he was referencing, Aaron Brock's case.
Did they deny Brock a new trial?
I don't know. I haven't paid any attention to Brock in a long time.
Because Hashigan got a new trial.
Maybe I'm getting the two mixed up. I don't remember.
Hang on. Aaron Brock, I think Aaron Brock is the one that Gifford was representing. And I think Behenna just ended up letting him out with time served.
Aaron Brock? Oh.
I think so. I mean, he was guilty of the charges for which he was convicted. But I can't remember what all the circumstances were that made Vicky Behenna sympathetic to his situation.
Well, I wish she would become sympathetic to Daniels.
Well, no one's presented it to her.
Well, that's because everybody's like, we don't, I mean, yeah, anyway. Travis says, so this is where politics come in. Government and his appointees, or the governor and his appointees don't want to be the ones to stay. The elected CCA didn't want to be the ones to grant anything. Only elected official was the AG that stood up. Yeah. And I've been calling Stitt a coward for the last couple of weeks. He's just in my opinion, he's a coward, and he wants GLOSSIP dead, but he doesn't want the blood to be on his hands. That's just my opinion, of course.
And it makes you admire people like the Attorney General. At least me,
yes.
I admire them that much more, because in spite of all these, there's all these people around him, or like the governor, and that are cowards and think of their own political career more than somebody's life and what's right.
Yeah, I'm glad you said the word. I'm glad you said the word admire, because that's exactly what I feel. And Travis says yes, for sure, Cherie. But yeah, because we just don't have any faith. I mean, look at what Mike Hunter and Mary Fallon, Mike Hunter,
John O'Connor,
they all were like, nope, kill him. They couldn't wait. And so I have a lot of respect right now for Drummond for standing up, and and not only all the government entities that he's standing up to, but he's standing up in a, I don't, that's maybe not the right way to say it, but to the family. He knows how the family feels, Van Tree's family feels about this, about um, GLOSSIP. They want him dead. They want him executed so they can have closure. They need
The
closure.
problem, right? And the problem is, this isn't about emotion.
Exactly.
This isn't about how someone feels. I mean, I get that, the state has convinced them that the story they've been peddling for 26 years or however long it's been is true.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're turning around, and as the widow said, now we feel betrayed.
Yeah.
But everything that they said at the clemency hearing, it was all emotional. It was just based on emotion. It wasn't, they weren't looking at any of the facts of the case. And I mean, I can't imagine going through what they've gone through. It's horrible. It's horrible.
It is. And it's just like the family of Paul, I can't remember his name, the one that was murdered in Norman, I think it was Norman, that Julius Jones was accused of murdering. Um, they were just as furious and just as upset, and I can't, in my mind, I'm thinking, why wouldn't you want, when you see this much controversy and you see the prisoner, the defendant, fighting for, especially in GLOSSIP's case, for so many years, claiming his innocence, and you see that there's new evidence being discovered, or evidence that was withheld, box number 8, there's a lot of evidence in box number 8 that was discovered. And I think at some point my mind would say, you know what, I need to take a step back and make sure that I am advocating for the death penalty for somebody who's truly guilty after everything that's been going on. But I guess I don't know. I guess that the families don't feel that way. And and my mind can't understand that. Um, yeah. Yeah. Mostly the family is behind the execution for sure. They were really upset the day of the clemency hearing. What was that, last Wednesday? They were really upset about it, and they felt like the governor or the attorney general had betrayed them. And he even said, I told them that I believe that he's guilty. I don't believe he's innocent. This is what Drummond said last week. I believe he's, I don't believe that he's innocent, but I don't think he got a fair trial. I think now I just get the sense that Drummond really feels now that he is innocent. That's my that's my opinion or my feeling of him right now, just by the way he's speaking. Travis says it is so rare for family to switch minds. It just doesn't. Yeah, I know. They just want their pain to end. But the thing of it is, I don't think that the pain really ends once somebody is executed or has serves their sentence or whatever. I don't know if the pain really ends.
I was at that evidentiary hearing several weeks ago. I think it's been a month ago now. I can't think of the guy's name. It was like a 1975. It was CF-1975-551.
Wasn't it Glenn Simmons or?
There you go. I could remember Glenn, but not Simmons. That dude has been in prison since 75. He's innocent. He wasn't even in the state when this happened. And the judge heard testimony all day long. And there was a woman in the courtroom that was the daughter of the person who was murdered. And she was on Glenn's side. So, yeah, it doesn't happen often, but, she said we were lied to by the state. The things that they told us weren't really true, and I can see this now.
Yeah. And the state is who needs to who the bitterness needs to be held for, is for the state, and the all of the dirty players that played along. Those are the ones that the anger and the bitterness needs to be, if it's going to be held, that's who that needs to be held for once that's discovered. And it's just with this new evidence and two independent investigations that have been done, then there's also, and I don't know, I might catch some crap. Travis wants to know if there was forensics on that case.
There was basically no evidence. There were eyewitnesses that said he was there, but they were like, and I think there was also a jailhouse snitch involved, that he told someone while he was in the county that he did this. But no, it wasn't a DNA case as far as I can remember. Trying to think.
I feel like when you said the daughter flipped a little bit, or came around to seeing that other point of view, I feel like I know the case, but I'm not recognizing the name.
They got this evidentiary hearing because of a Brady violation as well, and it was something that had been held from the beginning. And the ADA at the time actually took the stand in support of the defendant and admitted that that document had been withheld. And then he walked out of there and went and had dinner with his family.
Wow. And he'd been in prison since 1975?
Yeah, he's still in prison. The judge said she was going to make her ruling right away, and I think that was 3 or 4 weeks ago. Last time I checked, it still said pending. So.
And what state was this in?
It's Oklahoma.
Oh, of course.
It's Oklahoma County, as a matter of fact.
Oh, you guys are going to have to share something about that with me, because I don't, for some reason, it's not ringing much of a bell.
I just went to it to see what the process is like, and I had never seen that judge before, and I know Daniel's going to end up with a new judge in district court if he's so fortunate. I just wondered, it could be her. And what is her name now? Oh my gosh, I can't think of her name.
Yeah, Susan's asking what was thank you, Under Your Scars, for that information. I appreciate that. Susan,
I think it's GLYNN Simmons, but if you go into oscn.net, it's case number CF-1975-551. And it'll say Don something on it because there was a co-defendant who's been out of prison for quite a while. Don Williams or something.
Is that the one? I don't know. Has Daniel been reassigned a new judge? I don't think he has he?
No, not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, well, we have to get his attorney, yes, has to get I always say we, like I'm a part of this big thing, but his attorney needs to get the petition filed, or the motion filed for a post conviction, right?
Right. And also, I think what might come before, what will probably come before that, or I'm not sure what order is
Yeah.
some evidence or some
Yeah.
evidence that they want to obtain,
Okay.
some things that they tried to get in civil court from federal court from Judge Heaton in the civil case that didn't happen.
Oh, okay. Got it. Well, so yeah, and I mean, just looking at some of the judges that we know of in Oklahoma County, you know, I know there's a few names that we'd rather him not have to be assigned to, but because I mean, it's just because of their record.
Well,
Uh,
people think that he's going to get Natalie Mai, M-A-I, May,
mhm.
I don't know. God, I can't think what this judge's name was. I don't think he would get the judge that set his bond at $5 million. That's Trong.
Oh, that's who I was thinking was Trong. Travis says no, he has a new judge. Is motion for reconsideration to file a lengthier brief. Oh,
Who's the judge?
well, yeah, I don't know who the judge is. Probably. Yeah, I don't know who a judge is, but I mean, I don't know everything anyway, so.
May.
Well, yeah, maybe. That's what it was, May, because she was getting cases of Judge, probably Henderson. Susan says, Dit is crawling under a rock, I'm sure.
Oh, he didn't say shit about it in his press conference that he does on. I thought he was doing these on Thursdays, but he's doing them on Friday. And I was just stunned that no, of course, he's not going to bring it up on his own, but no reporter asked him any questions about it either,
Well,
about GLOSSIP.
yeah, they're
They did
protected.
last week, but
Yeah.
last week he said, no, I'm not going to grant a reprieve, a 60-day reprieve. I've done that once or maybe twice. I can't remember.
Yeah. So blasé, just like, yeah,
Like, no
whatever
big
it
deal.
was.
Let's go play dominoes.
Yeah. Let's go play cornhole.
Yeah, that's more appropriate. As I sit here watching people play cornhole.
I played cornhole for the first time about a month ago. It was funny. I was funny. I'm not going to lie. Travis says, I think you're right, Katie. May was getting the Henderson cases. That's what I remember.
Damn it. There's gossip they were having an affair too, but I don't have anything besides.
Well, what did I read?
You know that?
TJ says last week was before what happened in Henrietta. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right, TJ. That could play a whole lot of, could play into a lot of what's going to happen in this near future in the courts in Oklahoma. So,
Hey guys, I got to scat out of here. I'm getting
oh, excuse me. All right. Well, thanks for popping in, Kay. I know you had other stuff going on, so.
Hey, Chow. Hey, I sent you a link to Twitter, or I tagged you in Twitter. One of the Oklahoma City reporters was talking to Leah Glossip today.
Oh.
And I think there was a 1.5 minute recording.
Oh, okay.
That post.
I'll have to get on Twitter.
Okay, ciao, guys.
Yeah, bye, Kay. Thanks, Kay. Mm-hmm. Yes, Judge May and Henderson. We heard rumor that they were at one point having an affair as well. Travis, he just couldn't keep his shit in his pants. Who knows what he's doing now? I look on the OSCN for divorce information, but I haven't seen anything yet. So we'll see. Oh my goodness. But yeah, he had all sorts of, according to him, consensual, any sexual behaviors that he had and sexual acts that he engaged in were all consensual in his mind. And I'm thinking, Jesus, because I know there's at least 3 names that I can remember being attached to him. So, and yeah, no, I'm not even going to go there. But anyway, so yeah, yes. So for those of you who are late, yes, the SCOTUS, yes, I understand he is still a lawyer. I feel like I hear he's still practicing law. I think Kay told me that sometime in this last 6 or 8 months, which really pissed me off because I don't know. It's not illegal to, I guess it's not illegal or a crime or something to have affairs, and it's probably not. Or if it is, it's, it's socially acceptable somehow. But I just feel like when you're in a position of, that holds a high moral and ethic, Henderson, Susan, of high moral and ethical stature, that you should hold yourself above those earthly, or not earthly, but things that other people do, and they don't, their jobs aren't affected by it. But I feel like when you're a judge or an attorney, I feel like you need to figure out a way to keep your shit in your pants. Yes, they did. Kay was saying, I thought it was Aaron that got the new trial, Aaron Brock, and Kay said no, it was Hashhagen. So I'm not really sure now. Yeah, just having an extramarital affair would be enough for suspension. It seems like it to me. But Henderson is one of those ones who just gets to go about doing whatever he wants, and there's no consequences for what he's done.
Well, it's one thing to have an affair. I'm sure it's another thing to be having an affair with prosecutors in front of, with cases in front of you,
Yes.
While those cases are going on. That's
Yes.
just triple.
Yeah, that makes it even worse. And that was the one he said, that it was consensual. I mean, I know her name. I'm not going to say it out loud. I mean, there's no point in it, but I believe she was fired, if I'm not mistaken. He was forced to resign, and she was fired, from what I can recollect. So
Yeah, but the thing with that is, and also, Rhonda, is that if a judge is doing illegal things like sexually assaulting young DAs, upcoming DAs and lawyers and everything like that, and tampering with cases, then he shouldn't be sitting on cases that are about sexual assaults. That's just pot kettle black, in
right.
my opinion. How can they judge somebody else for something that they are doing themselves?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true, because with his position, there's authority and kind of like
Power,
control,
control.
somebody who has power over them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, power
Well,
and control, Cherie. That's what it's all about. Because that's what they say that predators, I mean, especially like SA predators and everything like that, it's a control and a domineering thing, and you know what I mean? And they're judging somebody else for doing that to a victim when they're doing it to victims themselves. I mean, it's ridiculous.
yeah.
Right.
And that's why, as far as we know, there's no evidence that he was having an affair with Lori McConnell while they were trying Daniel's case, while they were hearing Daniel's case. We haven't been able to find any evidence of that, but we sure did try. We sure have tried. Now, the secret hearings that were held, that's different. There is possibly something that could be found for when he held the secret hearings in Daniel's case, where well, they weren't even notified. They weren't notified of the secret hearings or the hearings. not only were they not notified, they weren't allowed, they weren't involved in it. And that's, that is the only time frame that I feel like we were thinking that there could have been something going on between him and McConnell. But anybody listening out there in Oklahoma, that's just speculation. I'm not saying anything happened or didn't. I don't know. But in a weird way, we were kind of hoping that something could be shown or found.
Yeah, but surely that comes, Rhonda. Surely that comes under the withholding evidence from the defense. If Daniel's lawyers weren't even involved in this grand jury, but it was about Daniel, then that's, in my opinion, and I mean, I don't know how it works, but to me, that means that they're withholding evidence that could maybe exculpate Daniel or something like that, and Daniel's lawyers don't even know about it. I mean, do they get access to the transcripts of this secret hearing?
No. They're still sealed. Those hearings are still sealed. And there is speculation or suspicion that there is something in the hearings that could have exculpated Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, and that hearing, they could have said anything about Daniel being innocent or anything like that, but something like, oh, we've came across this information, this document, this whatever, that proves he's innocent, but we're just going to sweep it under the rug and no hand it over to the defense. And Judge Henderson has went along with that because they're all fucking pally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That shouldn't be about anything else other than Daniel. So his lawyers should have been in that bloody hearing. It's plain, straight and simple. So to me, that means the state is withholding evidence which is against the law.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, it's Brady. It's a Brady violation, whether it could inculpate or exculpate. I believe everything that, but this was after the trial too. So this was either right before or right after he filed his appeal. Cherie might remember. Cherie or Alice, could you do Travis a favor and use the word "about" in a sentence?
Well, Travis knows I'm always about if he wants to chat about anything.
Oh, you're welcome, Travis. So anyway, we could talk about Daniel all night long. But this was about Richard GLOSSIP. It's fabulous news that SCOTUS has, indefinitely stayed the execution. And so I guess we just wait on them. And, we never have any way of knowing how long it's going to take. So it'll just be waiting, just like waiting for, Judge Flowers and everything else. So it's always just a big waiting game. It seems like it's frustrating, but anyway, yeah, thanks, Susan. I appreciate you stopping in. You have a good weekend. I know you've got something fun planned. So anyway, unless we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. If Cherie, do you have anything else you would like to add to this conversation?
No, I'm happy with the news. I'm happy for him and hope the good news continues.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Colette. And Alice, what else would you like to wrap up with?
I am so glad that finally one of your courts has actually made the right decision for a man who could have been murdered in the next couple of weeks, and it's not very often they get it right, but this time they have got it right, and hopefully they continue to get it right and read the case on as a whole and not just on what the state are saying. The man deserves a fair trial and a fair chance.
Right. Absolutely. We're also very pleased that he's getting an opportunity. I'm not going to lie, I didn't really expect it. So, Colette and Andy B, welcome. We're just getting ready to wrap up. Travis says, thank you all for reporting this case and current. This is really a case that needs to keep the OK criminal justice system in the news. Yeah, we agree. We agree. And I will cover it for as long as it continues, for sure. So thank you for all of your answering questions and helping us out, Travis. I appreciate it. Jack, what do you got? You've been so quiet.
Hey, I'm just taking it all in. Just sitting back. The toad thing you guys talked about really kind of threw me for a loop.
The toad thing?
Yeah, that was back about an hour ago. And
you brought that up.
I actually read it caught my attention because it had to be Wednesday. I read a news story. Seriously, I'm not kidding. There's an article about this woman that, I don't know, she was part of some freaking group or something. Anyway, they licked these damn toads from, wherever the hell, South America or whatever.
Yeah, it's a thing.
You can get really screwed up, take a trip. And I guess she got a little too much. She died. Killed her.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, it's a thing. Travis says, I always kid Dr. Soakman about cane toads. Yes.
No doubt. But yeah, so when Kay said that, it was like, oh shit, I have to say something.
You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad that the Supreme Court has put a stop to this, and hopefully, I don't know the process well enough to really hardly even know how to think about how this goes, but whatever the case may be, I hope that they do a full review of this case and see the inadequacies of killing this guy, and he didn't have a damn thing to do with it. It was all on these detectives, what they did in the beginning. This is on them. It's not on Richard Glossip.
Yeah, it really
Give the man his life. Give the man his life. Throw this shit out of court.
Yeah.
Or give him a new trial, or give him a new trial, let him get freed.
The thing is, the state has to know now that if they decided to try him again, that it would be not guilty. They have to know that. They know what has been proven now.
Absolutely. That's what they have to know.
Yeah.
And by the governor still not saying anything about it, or even a reporter asking, he has to know too.
Yeah.
And it's just so hypocritical. And I'm like Travis, we got to keep this shit in front center the best we can to the interested public. So glad for Richard.
Yeah. Travis is on one. Yeah. Can you imagine having 3 last meals? We have thought about it. We've talked about it a lot too, Travis. When in reading Truth and Justice, and one of the chapters in Truth and Justice, the author Mark Furman writes a whole chapter about being on death watch and your last meal, and that last 24 hours, that last 12 hours, he writes in a lot of detail what it's like for death row inmates. And in one of the chapters, I can't remember which one it was, but when they were getting ready to execute a young man, the author went into a lot of detail about what his last hours were like with his parents and everything. And I cried reading the chapter because it was so heart-wrenching and so, devastating to hear. And he was guilty. The kid was guilty of the crime. But just talking about the you know, what a death row inmate on death watch getting ready to go into the death chamber, what they go through. It just, that alone to me is just cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Rhonda. It is barbaric what they do to these men. You know what I mean? It is absolutely barbaric. The room that they're in, I mean, why do they have to take away the bed? You know what I mean? I don't understand that. Why do they have to take a bed? I understand taking shoelaces, belts, ropes, curtains, you know, things like that. Yeah, I understand, you know, but why take away the bed frame of the fucking bed?
Well, for me too, the thing that really gets me is the illumination for 24/7. The entire time they're on death watch, the light is very bright in their room and it never goes off. And I just think, man,
That's torture. You know
yeah,
what I
it's,
mean? That
yeah,
is a form of torture. I mean, if you think of it, you know, way back when, and you see it in the movies and everything like that, and all they torture them by putting them in rooms with bright lights and keeping them on 24/7, and some like with music and things like that blaring and stuff like that to have them sleep deprived. I mean, do they think making them even more sleep deprived than what they are is going to make a difference when they're getting put to death? You know what I mean?
yeah, it just seems cruel. I mean, it's not like they need the light on to watch them the entire time. They have a guard posted right outside their cell, watching them constantly through the bars, so they know every move that the inmate is making. Um, it's not like they take everything from them so that they can't commit suicide. So it's just beyond belief that they feel like that the lights need to be so bright, and the deprivation that they're causing. Anyway, it's really hard, those chapters when Mark Furman is describing the death chamber is really, really hard to read or listen to, and really heart-wrenching. It was rough. It's rough to read and listen to. So and GLOSSIP's done that 3 times now, and had, like Travis has said, 3 last meals, and my mind just can't even comprehend it. What he goes on, yeah. And under, what, there's also in those, one of those chapters I'm talking about, Under Your Scars, they talk about a man who, I believe, Sherry might have to refresh my memory maybe, but I believe they talked about a man who actually was able to take something, or they thought he took something, or something. Anyway, they rushed this man who was going to be put to death within a matter of hours. They rushed him to the emergency room to have the doctors in the hospital save his life. And then they took him back to prison and executed him. And it's just like, God, and I know there's probably some legal thing that goes to that, while we can't have somebody killing themselves on our watch, but it's I'm sure it's some sort of liability thing why they have to do it, but I just think it's horrific.
It's back to front. It's back to front, Rhonda. You know what I mean? They saved the man's life just to murder him again. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It's horrible. Okay, Cherie, you were going to say something.
Basically, I thought it was depravity is what it is to me, but maybe there is a legal reason. They just want to have the satisfaction of killing him themselves.
Yeah.
But That's my cynical side.
We've all gained cynical sides. I shouldn't say all, but I know a lot of us have become very jaded, um, over the years with different states and different counties and different law enforcements and things. It's hard to keep faith that there are good, good, all of those things. We just, they are. I know there are. I know there's good cops, of course. I know there's good prosecutors somewhere. I haven't really heard of very many, but that's just because I focus on wrongful convictions. But, I know there's good. But unfortunately, when you're talking about somebody's freedom or life good isn't good enough. It has to be, better. It's got to be better than good. So anyway. All right. Well, we got to talk about some really good news for a change, and hopefully we'll be able to continue sharing good news. And hopefully we'll see Richard Glossip walk out of prison soon. That would be the ultimate, joy for sure. So. All right. Well, thank everybody in both chats, Foul Play and in my chat. Jack, thank you for sharing streaming for Foul Play.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it works out really well. I really enjoy it. And it's kind of fun to bring people from Foul Play into, even though I'm initially very involved in Foul Play, of course, with Stephen and Brendan. This is kind of my little side gig, if you will. And so to bring others from Foul Play into Daniel's case and now to Richard Glossip's case, it's a really good feeling for me, and
It's good exposure.
It is really good exposure.
There are other really bad cases, as bad as Stephen and Brendan's, although theirs is a bit unique. There are other unique cases around the country, and we have to recognize that.
Yeah. And being able to do what we do, streaming the same thing simultaneously is really, like you said, a good way to get good exposure
Absolutely.
to other things as well. So
that's right.
All right. I really appreciate it. So everybody in chat, thank you guys so much. Thank you for all the questions. Under your scars, you brought a lot of good info. I tried to share everything on the screen that you were putting in the chat. Until next time, which should be Thursday, unless we hear something else about Richard Glossip before then. Until next time, peace out.